Good evening, the internet. Welcome to Blade 68, brought to you by the Random Encounter Guild and recently voted Vice Magazine's third sexiest TTRPG. We are going to be doing a score tonight and this continuing episodic thing that we've been doing with the Diamond Jacks as we're getting close to the end of season 1 right now. The crew's mostly here right now. Our good buddy Justin is not able to join us tonight, but we assume Mr. Coffee's on a bender, and we'll find out a little bit more about that next week. What we're going to be doing tonight, for those of you who don't recall, is last week there was a killer on the loose in Night Market, and you've been actively pursuing this for a while. Between some leads between the police, some downtime activities between Jenna and Justin, you learned that this was an individual named Skinner. You were told by a blue coat, so a police officer, to go to an address, and you met a reality warden. Reality wardens are the people who control death in Duskfall in Blade 68. And they told you that the killer was an individual named Skinner, who's the head of the Limmerfield gang, a 2-bit dime junkie gang of a bunch of nobodies who you probably wouldn't have even really paid attention to. But for whatever reason, they are becoming very powerful, very influential, and there is a trail of bodies behind them, specifically Skinner. The reality warden sort of informed you that for whatever reason, when Skinner is sort of making these ritualistic murders, it's not setting off the death bells or the klaxons or the Section 6 radios or anything. And you weren't really able to ascertain if that's because echo or ghost is not coming from that body or something's getting in the way of that. But the reality warden felt like this was almost a perversion of nature. And knowing the kind of shenanigans that you get into, including occasionally murdering, irritating reporters, said, hey, you go do this. I'll kind of clear your name, and you'll make a couple of bucks on the side that's associated with that. You don't know where Skinner is, how to get Skinner, where they're going to strike next, or anything like that. And the only thing that you do know is that Fellows, Dicer's rival, is somehow involved in this and seems to be involved in a lot of the bad stuff that you've been interacting with. Additionally, Fellows has been really harassing Dicer a lot lately, including what might have been sending a message to one of his neighbors, which maybe that was the way the message was supposed to go. Maybe your neighbor just got lucky because she didn't happen to be there at the time of that sort of thing. So that's sort of the premise. I just kind of to recap, because Jen, I know that you were watching, but you weren't necessarily here for that. Before we kind of go into the intro or anything like that, does that make sense? Everybody kind of remember the things that are in play right now?
Yep.
Did we collectively decide that the which avenue we were going to go to tonight? Which one they were going to pick?
We're going after Skinner.
Okay, so that's...
Yep. Does that all make sense? We clear on the gist before we kind of get going into it? Okay, so something I wanted to ask, because I was thinking about this lately. In D&D or Pathfinder, there is sort of the cliche, oops, all bards, where everybody's like, you know what would be awesome? A band. Everybody is a bard. I've done it. I've seen it a couple of times. Yeah.
I've done it.
Is it fun? Is it fun for a minute and then becomes annoying? Like, is this a great idea? Is it a terrible idea? Where do people fall on oops, all bards?
It depends on the people you're playing with.
Mm-hmm.
If you are playing with new players who kind of only have the basic concept of what a bard is and what a bard can do, it's gonna get stale real fast.
Yeah.
But if you're playing with experienced people who understand subclasses and how you can kind of, mix and match and toy with things and have like a really good grasp of building a character with like goals and wants and fears and stuff, then everybody can have exactly the same class and still be completely different characters, because you're going to have different subclasses, you're going to have different backgrounds, you're going to have different funny voices, all the things. So if everybody's doing things different, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
If everybody's doing things the same, that better be a one shot, because
yeah, for me, I mean, we did it as well, but we started the as bards, and then we all quickly multi-classed. So as we went along, the bard levels kind of became less and less important, and we used that as the traveling band as like the front of the group, but we were doing other things, kind of like what we're doing here. So we were like the spies and the etc. But we all come in as the merry minstrels, and nobody expects us to be the infiltrators and everything like that. So it ended up being pretty fun. But the whole party of bard aspect, just like I said, it kind of went slowly away as we all multi-classed and started getting more levels in the other classes than we were in the bards. So
love it. What about you, Scott?
I had an idea at one time. We were going to do that, and they were going to be a band, and like touring, tavern to tavern, that whole bit. But we wound up never doing it, and I've never played a bard. That the bar owner in Vanessa's game over on Film Gamer Party, was he a bard, Jenna? Do you remember? I remember he was a dwarf. He may have been a bard. I may have set him up as a bard just to be silly, but
possible.
I'm pretty famously not a 5e guy, so bards are not really something that's in my wheelhouse. But yeah, that's the closest I ever came. I had a group that we were playing Pathfinder, and we discussed doing an all bard like story, but we never got around to it.
Yeah, I did it briefly, and I'm very much on Jenna's sort of modus of this sort of thing. It can be really interesting, and it was kind of neat seeing people sort of like claim bard cliches, and then other people being like, oh, well, what am I going to do now? And really have to sort of be inventive with that kind of thing. And yeah, it was fun while it lasted. But I thought it was there. But yeah, I've seen a lot of people like that idea sometimes is the equivalent of like friends being like, dude, we should start a band in real life. And it's like, okay, let's all talk about that before we get going.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then I think something else that I wanted to say was once a shattered world dreamed of reaching the stars, then came the Unity Wars. Today, Duskfall is a city of neon and secrets, satellites and spies. The bubble hums, keeping out the ghosts of the past, but inside, grifters, gangsters, and revolutionaries fight for a future they might never see. The Cold War burns hot in boardrooms and back alleys where life is cheap and secrets are priceless. The sky may turn blue for a few fleeting hours every day, but in this city of sin, the only thing that truly shines are the blades in the dark. Episode title, to be determined based off of what you do tonight. So it sounds like Skinner is something that you want to pursue in some sort of capacity. We did not discuss where he was, any leads or anything associated with that. And I'm not going to give it freely either. So if that's something you would want to pursue, let's say it's been a couple of weeks since our last downtime session. If anybody wants to sort of try to start doing any investigation or roles or anything like that associated with that, let's open it up if this is what you want to pursue tonight.
Well, the first thing I'm going to say is we all agree that I get 3 XP from the last score, right? Did I do anything with quick thinking or charm? The answer is yes. Okay, good. Glad we got that out of the way.
Done.
Absolutely.
Okay. I think at this point, Belladonna's been gone for a while, so she like kind of comes back in a trying not to act hungover sort of way with like the large oversized glasses, even though it's dim in here. Like late to the party and holding her coffee sort of situation.
Heels in one hand, coffee in the other.
She's still been doing the show. She still shows up at the show. Like on TV, you can't tell. But off TV, she's like, so let me get this straight. There's someone murdering people and we are supposed to murder them about it and then that will be okay?
That's what we were told. We get a free pass.
Well, he didn't mention going forward. He just said everything we've done in the past would be forgiven.
This is why I always have you sign contracts and then you know what it is that you're agreeing to. I want to know how it is that this person is killing people without there being, it's not crows now. What is it?
It's Section
Warden.
6, and the reality wardens send out like a autopod, so a car comes out with automatons in them, and they sort of seek it out, and then sort of this crew of faceless machines picks up the body and does whatever Section 6 does with the bodies.
Gotcha. You're telling me that there's some random no one lowlife who has the ability to kill people without anybody knowing and without Section 6 showing up, and we're supposed to just find this person and then kill them. But that would be really helpful information to have for us. Or for anyone we want to sell the information to, but what a waste.
Depends on how he's doing it.
From what I have seen on the streets, people are very who knows if it's actually real or not, but he's become a bit of an urban legend. People are running around talking about some kind of code that even people that don't normally work together are supposed to watch out for each other, because if you don't, Skinner's going to get you. Very strange. I don't know that I've ever seen anything like this in Duskwall.
Yeah, the idea of a serial killer in Duskwall is probably not very relevant. You know, just these sorts of things with death being as synonymous and as the amount of sort of scrutiny that's associated with it. I don't know if any of you have seen a serial killer in your life before.
I've seen lots of death, but not intentional like this.
Yeah.
Well, it would certainly make a good story, that's for sure.
Maybe you can use it on your show. Once we figure out how he's doing it.
Either way, we need to locate him.
Where, Brandon, I'm sorry, where was it that my experience happened? What part of city?
Which experience specifically?
Where I came to from my experiment.
It was in Night Market.
Night Market. Okay, yeah. The individual I had words with about the situation, that he was in Night Market. I mean, that seems like a logical place to start.
Yeah, Night Market is the district where you are sort of crewed in as well. It's kind of your home turf, and you have been subject to the curfew, and I imagine you've had to be clever to sort of get around it lately.
Right. Do we have anybody we can reach out and talk to?
I was just looking at our sheet, and one of the people we have on our sheet is Bloom, a collector, and it doesn't say what they collect. So maybe we have a weirdo collector.
Yeah. Okay, cool. You want to talk to Bloom?
I mean, sounds reasonable to me.
I have Grunt, the back alley doctor. They might know what's going on with the bodies.
Mm-hmm.
Or heard something about the bodies.
Yeah, I guess I will go talk to Bloom. We start this episode talking about bards, and Scott saying like, he doesn't really play 5e, he's not really a bard kind of guy, and I'm like, well, I mean, the bard is just the face character, and that's me. If we were to convert this into 5e, Velvet would be a bard. That's just where we are. So I'm gonna go be talkie at our strange collector friend Bloom.
Okay. Are you meeting Bloom on his turf, or are you bringing him to the club or somewhere else?
I think that he's the kind of guy it's difficult to get to leave his favorite spot.
Yeah.
So I probably go to him.
Okay. Yeah. Bloom.
Nicer one of us should probably go.
I'll go.
If not both of us.
You can all go. Yeah, so Bloom runs Bloom's Museum of Curiosities and Curios. And let's say it's in Six Towers. It's in a part of town that used to be a little bit nicer than it was. The rent's probably a little bit cheaper. But Bloom is legit. And, you know, this is a contact that you have. And so you get in whatever the way is. And the walls are filled with tinctures and glass jars and specimens and old books and relics and Leviathan sculptures and really just every kind of creepy and weird and esoteric sort of thing. And it's almost claustrophobic, even for somebody like Belladonna, who's kind of like, oh yeah, I'm kind of into this kind of stuff. It's a lot. And it is just everywhere, and it's dusty and it's musty, and you get the impression that there's some sort of organic organization to the way that it works, but like you also get the impression like if you asked, you would be here for a year, and so maybe it's not best to ask those sort of specific questions of somebody like Bloom. And yeah, and Bloom is there, and he's got his jeweler's glasses on, and he's got some weird artifact of an insect, and he's sort of placing the scales back on and moving the eyes around a little bit and just muttering and just saying, yes, the insect world will be nearly complete afterwards, and then I will only need 643 more to have the entire endemic species list in here. No idea that you're here.
This is about what I expected. That probably we met Bloom because I sourced some like props or something. So I'm like, oh yeah, he's almost my kind of weirdo. So she just comes up and is like kind of staring over his shoulder and just watches for a bit. You know, I feel like maybe the wings should be just a little bit more open. But otherwise, it's lovely.
And he jumps up. Good heavens to Murgatroyd. Oh, hello. Oh, the Diamond Jacks. Oh, it's wonderful to see all of you. Owl, I have something for you. And he kind of scurries off into a back room. A minute passes. And another minute passes. And he kind of scrounges back, and he's just got a normal deck of playing cards. And he says, would you like to see a magic trick?
Sure.
And so he starts dealing it, and he says, this is called the Severosi Spike. And he sort of says, guess any number between 1 and 20.
Okay.
Okay, what's the number?
13.
Maybe a number between 1 and 5.
3.
Okay. Is this your card? No, I didn't ask that part. Shit. I think I have a more period-appropriate deck. If you'll just give me an hour or two, I can find it for you. Just give me some time. And he starts kind of shuffling to the back room.
That's really not. I appreciate your effort, but that's really not why we're here.
Oh, okay. Well, it's nice to see all of you. It's not many visitors come to my store, but I know you're an appreciator of the finer curiosities. What can I do for you?
He definitely does not sell any of these things. It's not a store. It's a museum for him. Well, darling, first of all, you're doing great with your magic tricks. I see the improvement since the last time we've come. I mean, really, you're doing well.
Watch this, overhead shuffle. No. Dear. It was supposed to end up in my hand.
No, but that would be a lovely distraction if ever you needed one. So we actually came to just have a little chat. It's been such a long time since we talked, you know. And you have such interesting interests, you know. You have information on all sorts of things, and we have heard about the Skinner character. I'm sure you have too. And he just seems so, well, fascinating, really. And we just thought, you know, who would just know everything about this, who would just be such a fascinating conversation, would be Bloom, of course.
Skinner is an ape and a brute. I cannot deny that the work he's been doing has been unusual and fascinating. I do have professional lines, and this is one that I won't cross. It is perverse what he's doing, and the curfew is not good for business. He gestures to his very empty shop. Clearly would make no difference. But I have been following the case, as it were. It is interesting. His methodology for what is occurring and why Section 6 is sitting on their hands. I've never seen anything like this.
She puts on a really, compassionate face. I'm not good at that, so just pretend. And she goes, darling, your shop, I mean, this is your livelihood. What can we do about this to help you? maybe there's some kind of arrangement we can come to about him.
The best thing for Duskfall would be if he was hit by a train. I'll be quite clear about that, my friends. He is an evil man, and he should not be doing these things. Or if he continues to do those things, the Blue Coat should answer my request to have the bodies delivered to me before the moratorium. Nobody is studying these things. It's impossible to create a connection.
Well, I don't have a train, but we might be the next best thing.
Yes, a locomotive of prosperity and get howness. And always appreciated your candor.
So, well, let's do it then. If you want this man out of the way, I'm sure we could do a favor for such our good friend Bloom. What? Tell us what you know and tell us what you need, and we'll figure something out.
The only thing that I know, and thank you for asking so nicely, nobody ever says please.
Did I say please?
He thinks you said please.
Okay, perfect.
Only
Always
When I'm in character, I just talk. I don't know what's happening. I don't.
And he says, the only thing that I know for certain is that I've never seen these wounds being displayed in this way before. The precision of the ritualistic scarring and wounds that he's doing on these, and I don't know whether he's doing them when they're still alive or not, suggests a precision handheld weapon of some sort. And it must be made of a metal composition I've never encountered before, or at least in mine, or perhaps something very new. But the weapon that he must be using to do this, and I assume it is what he's using to kill them with, is novel. I've never seen the like of it before in any capacity, and I've been looking through my metallurgic reference base, and I see nothing of the type. But I would say the weapon, the knife or the scalpel or whatever he's using, that's the key. The other thing I know is this bag of dirt has been mixing with higher society. And everything I know about him is he is untouchable. I do not necessarily roll in such illustrious circles these days anymore, but if you know anybody who did, perhaps they could guide you towards his whereabouts.
Well, that's something I think I could probably arrange. Well, we both love candor, darling, so let's be candid. What is it exactly that you're willing to offer us? It sounds to me like you want his weapon for your collection.
His weapon would be a mighty piece indeed. And as a Samaritan of Duskfall, I know that in my hands it would no longer be causing harm as well. So yes, absolutely. Bringing this towards me would be a betterment for the city, of course.
She's trying to maneuver so that he's going to pay them for the job they're going to do for the reality warden anyway.
Okay, so let's introduce a mechanic that we touched on briefly. It's called a called shot right now in Blade 68. The reality warden is going to give you 5 coin for eliminating Skinner, if you can do that. If you would like to call your shot right now and say, we are also going to retrieve the knife or whatever it is. This is a gamble right now. I'll say I will give you 3 more stack coin or whatever you want to call it if you do that. However, if you fail to do that, I'm going to remove it. You will only receive 2 stack for completion of the mission.
I mean, I'm fine with that. But of course, I was the one who was like, I'm gonna go get the extra winnings from the race because I'm gonna win the race. Like, this is apparently what I do.
The reality warden had no stipulation about what was to happen with any object or artifact or anything like that. I don't know if they're going to be thrilled about it, but there were no conditions in the terms that they set with you about that.
We didn't find it.
Anything with them anyway.
Okay, yeah, sure. Well, if you're game for that, I will mark that if and when we get there.
Crew, are y'all okay with this gamble? Because it will affect your stacks as well.
I mean, we're pretty flush with cash at the moment. Not like
But this is our thing, though.
I was likely going to keep the knife, so if we end up selling it, that's fine.
I kind of wouldn't mind getting that knife as well.
And he says, but before you go, I have a tome here. And he starts toming and looking through it. And he says, are you aware of the different levels of anomaly that exist within the spiritual world and how we classify entities?
Well, I'm much more aware of them in the historical sense than in the current scientific sense, but relatively, yes.
Okay, so we break down anomalous findings in a leveled system in order to do that. And I have been tinkering on a device for some time that can sense the presence of these anomalous energies. And he sort of pulls it down and he pulls out this like hand crank doohickey of some kind. And he goes, observe. And he turns to sort of a glass sort of tome and starts, and this sort of like printout sort of comes from it and is like level 0.021 anomaly. And he says it's a scale, much like the Richter scale. It scales proportionately. The higher the number, the more energy there is. Oh, if there were still Leviathans, I would love to point one at one, but I will need this back, of course, but this may be a helpful way for you to locate the device if you think it would be prudent on your escapade.
Well, that sounds very helpful. Thank you.
Sure.
Of course, we'll give it back in perfect condition.
You best be. I only have 7, and that's my favorite one.
I'm touched you would let us borrow your favorite one.
Yes, see, it's green. I like green.
She holds her hands up and her black nails underneath have the red, and she goes, I like red. All right, so we probably spend another couple hours with Bloom just because that's how he is as a person, trying to get out of there. But, okay, so we got information on the weapon, kind of. The fact that it's not a metal composition that Bloom is aware of, does that... I mean... Are we kind of under the impression that he knows a lot about a lot of stuff, or he knows a lot about, like, his specific, like, very narrow field? Like, if Bloom doesn't know the metal, is it, like, he's like, I don't know, I'm not a metal guy, or is it, like, this is maybe something completely new or unseen in Dustfall?
This is just something that Bloom simply hasn't encountered before in some sort of capacity. Bloom's a knowledgeable jack of all trades sort of thing. And so if this was a known metal composition, to his understanding, he would have identified it in some capacity. However, if it has any sort of anomalous properties associated with it, he's not as concerned with the paranormal in the sense of the way that they sort of operate. So there are things, I would say he's not an occult specialist. He's more of a artifact collectionist.
Gotcha. Okay. So walking out of there and kind of brushing the dust off the velvet dress, which is fine. She sort of turns to you guys. Well, do any of you know anyone in the upper echelons? Any socialites we could contact?
That's not my circle.
Darling, it was a joke.
I know.
Yeah, I would say upper echelon people or grifters maybe, who sort of interact with the upper echelons as well.
Well, we don't know any of those, except me. I have a friend. Una Bell,
Right.
who is a socialite. I also have a friend who is a politician.
Yeah. Okay.
And we
Oh.
have the crew. The crew has Nagel and Aristocrat.
Oh.
Oh, I didn't see that one. We have an aristocrat.
Yeah, I have a journalist and a surgeon on my list.
Journalist might have
Yeah. Have
information
you
on
met
it.
the journalist yet?
Yeah, we went to Stoker for something.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's Stoker. Yeah.
Okay. I remember nothing about this person, so I apologize. But if that's where you want to go, we can certainly do that.
I feel like the aristocrat would probably be. I mean, when you say like upper echelon, untouchable, that's a little.
Yeah.
That feels a little bit more to me than just a socialite, or just. I mean, you have to have like politician maybe, but
Yeah.
politicians fall
Those
to
all make
scandal,
sense.
so.
I would say think about who you are going to be the least annoyed by for the next 5 minutes as I personify presumably an annoying individual and pick that and we'll make it work.
Last episode, we used Stoker to reduce the crew's heat.
Right.
Looking back in our notes.
Thank you for taking notes, by the way. You're doing the Lord's work.
Yeah, those are solid notes, man.
Yeah, let's go with the aristocrat. Aristocrat. Oh my goodness. Let's go with the aristocrat. I think.
Okay. What's their name again?
Toulouse. It's
Nagel.
definitely Toulouse.
What was it?
Nagel.
Nagel. Okay, sure. Where is Nagel located? How do you know Nagel?
I think that Nagel's on the crew sheet, so I'm not entirely sure how we know him. Maybe we've done a job for him in the past.
That's what I was going to suggest. Yeah.
But I feel like as far as where he's located, probably in the fancier areas. And in fact, I don't think we meet at his place. We probably meet in some sort of like one of those like glass dome conservatory things. That's like only open during blue time, and there's like actual plants in there. That's like the equivalent of like a park, maybe.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, so
Yeah, in like a fancier spot.
Nagel is there. Nagel has a plate of real strawberries that he's dining on with a very small, almost like lobster-esque fork, and a little series of tweezers, and just delightful. Oh, yes. Yeah, and having a wonderful time.
Velvet is not dressed the way that she normally is to be in this particular area or part of town. Like normally when she's out and about and in public, she still goes like full vampire starlet situation. And right now she's not. She looks a little bit more normal. She's in like the goth equivalent of like cardigan sort of outfit, and she's probably wearing like a deep red instead of a black, so she fits in a little bit more where they are. Like of course she looks like she's supposed to be here.
Right.
And she is playing along with everything he says. Oh yes, it's so lovely when they're in season, you know, but when they're not in season, oh, just bitter.
And he kind of looks you up and down and he says, "You're not camera ready, obviously, right now, but it is so lovely to see you, Velvet." And he turns to Dicer and he kind of puts his arm on your shoulder and rests a little too long on your tricep, and he says, "You're always a fine figure, though, Dicer. Wonderful to see you. What can I do for you lovely people this afternoon?"
You'll notice that in this instance, Velvet does not react to the insult and just lets this happen.
Yes. It's so brave of you to come out without any embellishment. I truly wish I had your courage.
It's good for the Constitution every once in a while, you know.
I
Switch
wouldn't
things
know.
up a bit.
I wouldn't know. I don't think about these things. But how are you, my friends?
Oh, lovely, of course, lovely. It's been so long, darling. And we just wanted to catch up, see how you're doing. You know, that business we had with the library a while ago, I hope you've fully recovered from that. Well, anyway.
A monetary rounding value of a rounding value. My accountants say that it's of no concern.
Well, and your nose has healed wonderfully, wonderfully. Your doctor did such a lovely job.
The best in the business, as they say, and it was an opportunity to get a little work done anyway. I'll never tell.
We never do. But one thing I maybe could ask you to tell about, and she sort of like leans in a little bit like gossip conspiratorially, right? But doesn't actually get like I bet he smells like perfume or like Polo Black or something.
Several perfumes. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I heard we don't have a real name for this guy, right? Everybody just calls him Skinner.
Skinner. That's all we have.
Okay. You know, I heard some of the best parties around town, and she sort of like, she doesn't really elbow him, but she kind of does that like parties. That there's sort of a newer person on the scene who's making things interesting, and I was just wondering if you had chance to rub elbows with Skinner yet.
Yes, I have. There's a difference of people who've become and people who were, if you catch my drift.
Oh, of course, my love, the nouveau riche. They have a smell to them.
Covered up, I don't know what it is. A certain urban, olfactory image persists when I'm around this man. But I do not trade company with him. But I have seen him around, yes. Skinner is emerging on the scene and a man of quite interest, so I hear.
Well, you know my particular tastes, and I just think it would be so interesting to meet him, you know. And I thought, well, who better? I mean, my darling friend Nagel knows everyone who could be anyone. Who else would I possibly go to?
Of course. I get the impression that Nagel does not like you very much, and sort of gets around. Could somebody give me a roll of some kind? Because I feel like Nagel is not the kind of person who gives things away for free.
His nose looks
Play
awful.
your consort.
Dicer, fresh strawberries.
That sounds like a sway to me because, well, I guess consort. I am trying to get him to help me, but I'm definitely not being honest with him. So,
Whatever, they both work.
Dicer just quickly draws a knife and just stabs the strawberry and then pops it in his mouth and puts the knife back and like boom, boom.
Ooh,
Okay.
Coquettish.
we're not in a score right now, so like flashbacks or whatever are not a thing. But knowing Nagel, I have specifically tailored Dicer's outfit for today. So he doesn't have sleeves, like you can see all the like arm muscles, but there's just enough so if there's like a little tattoo, you can just see like the tiniest little peak, not the whole thing, just a little bit like tantalizing that there could be a tattoo there. What is it? Like I brushed your hair. You look like rugged, but the kind of rugged that they show in like perfume commercials.
Yeah. Let's call this for great effect then, because that is if there's a button, you just pushed it very hard.
The tattoo is military, clearly.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll just do just a straight roll. That's probably the most gambling I've done this whole campaign, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. A 1 and a 5. So 5.
5 for great effect. Okay, yeah, that's plenty enough. And so he doesn't look at you. He's looking right at Dicer, and he says, "There's a soiree that I think Velvet would like very, very much, and suit in quite so because it's a masquerade. And those seem suited to your TV face. So there is a soiree happening at a bookstore. It's a front, and it is going to be very exclusive and quite exciting. The rumors are a high-stakes poker game is going to be happening, and some of the most dangerous and exciting people are going to be there. And knowing Skinner and his dangerous habits, I suspect that there's a very good probability that he will be there. And from what I've heard of the man, if he's not in a place like this, he is completely untouchable. No one sees him, no one hears from them. He appears at these galas and shows, and I will say he's quite exciting. But if you needed to encounter or meet or interact with the man, I would say that this is the place to do it, but you'll have to dress the part.
So you'll naturally be there.
Oh, me? No, of course not. Skinner is an absolute psychopath. I wouldn't be anywhere near him. It's madness. But for you all, it seems right up your alley. I think you'll have a wonderful time. And do tell me who's there.
A high-stakes, dangerous masquerade poker game. I used to go to those parties in college. That's not a good idea.
Yes, so there's a bookstore front called Saints and Sinners, and there is going to be some sort of high-stakes underground poker game happening there. Skinner presumably will be there. Dicer, there's probably a very good chance Fellows will be there as well in some capacity, and that's kind of what you know so far.
Excellent. Perfect. Are we good here, guys?
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Let's talk about this. Let's talk about it, and let's
How to get invited? Yeah. So.
Yeah, let's kind of dive right into this. Let's talk through your approach that you're thinking about that might be appropriate for this. And as you are having this discussion, if we want to ask a couple of more pointed questions, we can certainly do that to provide you with a little bit of information. But I think we're ready to jump into the score otherwise. So if you have any pointed questions, I can call for a dice roll. I can give it to you for free. We can sort of figure that out as we go.
Are any of us particularly good at poker? That's the main thing.
It's not anything that I've ever. My vices are in other areas.
I'm sure I played cards in the army. Not that I'm good at it, but.
Can we take a quick 5-minute break? We're kind of halfway through anyway, but I can hear my daughter upstairs crying mommy, and it's 9 p.m. So
You got it.
Sure.
I'll be back.
Yeah. We'll be right back.
All right, we'll be back in just a couple of minutes. Everybody, stick around.
And we're back. Hope everybody enjoyed their beverage break. Let's get into the mix. So, I know you have limited information. Continue to feel free to ask me questions right now. You know you're sneaking into a bookstore where underground there's going to be some sort of gambling den or something like that. Assault, deception, stealth, paranormal, social, or speed.
Speed would be interesting. We are trying to, like, our goal is to get this guy away from everybody else. And we are supposed to murder him. Like, we are supposed to make him not alive anymore. That is what
your goal is to murder this person. How you elect to do it is completely up to you and the consequences of what would happen afterwards. But there will be no Section 6 death wardens associated with the death of Skinner.
I know that you said we're supposed to get into this, but that's nice. I'm gonna keep RPing for just 1 second. We're back at the Black Diamond, and she turns to Dicer and she says, "You know, if there won't be any spirit wardens coming tonight, and Fellows will be there, it might be your chance."
I know.
Okay.
If there's a chance, I'm taking it.
Stealth doesn't quite make sense here. Speed doesn't quite make sense. We could try deception, I guess, or just straight up social.
Yeah, you could try to talk your way through the front door. You could try to stealth your way into an alternative entrance if you wanted to do that.
My playbook, one of the things that I always have in my inventory is an invitation to the party.
Mm-hmm.
I just have one. So
yeah, you can certainly take that approach if you'd like. Yeah.
Just whether or not we're sitting at the table or if we're just in the room is the question, I guess.
Yeah. So I'll tell you in your weeks of planning that were associated with this, you know that there's sort of the bookstore. There's some way that you get downstairs, and then there's sort of a big 2-level open concept, like, post-industrial exposed sort of brass and exposed overhead lights and Edison lamps and everything like that. This kind of beautiful, almost like 1960s shopping mall kind of thing that's underground with sort of little parlors off to the side. And there are also sort of those rooms off to the side are sort of the more high stakes rooms as well. And I'll also say that in your sort of pursuit, you know that there's some kind of back service entrance or something like that as well. We'll say that was sort of the information you gained as you were casing the joint and everything like that.
Well, you're welcome to go in however you're going to go, but Belladonna does not go in the servant's entrance. What is remind me, there's like the detail questions for each thing. What is it for deception that we need to know?
The misdirection or the disguise.
That makes sense.
And if you simply want to say, we walk in, we've got a contact who's a noble, I've got a pass to the party, certainly take it that way as well. You'll certainly be noticed as you're coming in, right? You're going to be officially sort of on the guest list, but yeah, we can certainly get you there if you want.
I think that would work, but can I be on the guest list as Racer X?
Yeah, absolutely. Racer X plus who?
I mean, if you guys want to come in the front with me, that works. If you guys want to go in the back separately, that also works. I feel like we've done both already. Every one of our scores is the same score. I make noise, you guys don't make noise. That's we have a.
That's how we work.
I wouldn't say Al doesn't make noise, but okay.
Well, you eventually make noise, but you don't start by making noise. Yeah, so I think that's what we're gonna do. I'm going to have been invited as Racer X, So that,
We'd have a +1.
yeah, sure, perfect. Pit crew.
Yeah, I could.
And then being like,
You two
'cause-
could go through the front, and I can go. I could kind of make my way through the servants' entrance and
just be one of the
be
drug
prowling
dealers.
around.
Yeah.
Do what?
I said, just be one of the drug dealers.
I am.
I know.
Once I'm in, I just walk by a door and knock the door open, and you slide in. Yeah.
Oh shit! It's
Very
Owl.
real chance that Sunshine Number 9 is about to get introduced to a lot of people.
He's spiking the punch.
Yeah, let's do it.
All
Let's
right.
go.
So last thing is that your loadout, quiet or loud.
This sounds quiet.
Well, considering my outfit is a latex version of Speed Racer and Eartha Kitt's Catwoman, I think that I probably have to go quiet.
Okay, quiet. Scott, as the +1, are you also quiet?
Me, yeah, but I also have the walking arsenal ability, which adds 2 to my load, any load, so I have 5 instead of 3.
Sweet. Guildmaster Scott, what about yourself?
Yeah, you're not under the same.
You really
restrictions
want to
we are.
go loud, but I don't think it's prudent.
Well, I mean, if the costume that you come up with has lots of toy weapons or like.
Oh,
You know.
yeah, it's a masquerade party.
It's a
It is a
masquerade.
black tie masquerade. So, you're going to be expected to be wearing a bow tie or a cummerbund or something like that. But the mask is up to you.
Oh, so it's not like a costume.
No, we're not going full big diva sort of thing like this. This is a classy affair.
Okay.
So yeah,
So
I
then
gotta
I'm
go
not
light.
in a
then.
latex racer suit, but I am in a skin-tight black latex like mermaid dress.
Inspired by
More like
Racer
eyes
High.
wide shut. Yeah.
I gotta go
Oh,
light
nice.
then. If it's not something that I could like manage, I really want to have all my stuff. But yeah, I'll have to go light if it's going to be something like that where I can't conceal things very easily.
Okay, great. Well, let's kind of get rolling then. Mark that off on your character sheet. Is this operation particularly bold or daring? Yes. Is this operation overly complex or contingent on many factors? I don't think so.
It's kind of our standard MO.
Does this plan expose a vulnerability of the target or hit them where they're the weakest? No. Is the target strongest against this approach, or do they have any particularly defenses or special preparations? Nope. Can any of your friends or contacts provide aid or insight into the operation? Take 1D. Yeah, I'll say that you did that. Are there any enemies or rivals interfering with the operation? Oh, yes. We'll take away 1D for you. And are there any other elements you want to consider? Maybe a lower tier target, maybe higher tier target. We'll give you 1D. I'm going to say you're actually the same tier as Skinner is. Maybe there's a situation in the district that makes the operation more or less tricky. There is, but you were looking to solve that. So I'm not going to count that against you. 1 die.
I would argue that knowing the Section 6 is not going to get involved with us is a benefit on our terms.
No, 1 die. Okay, that's a 5. That is a standard sort of risky encounter that we're going to be starting out with those things. Okay, so who wants to kind of start and set the scene for us? Are we starting in the back or are we starting in the front?
Start in the back.
I think it's
Okay, so Owl, we're starting at a risky position right now. You are in the back alley of of night market right now. This is nighttime in Duskfall, so even for dark, it is dark. This is a miserable night. We've got rain, we've got sleet that's coming down as well. Sort of the echo vapors are wandering around. It's just kind of this like disgusting miasma. And sort of parked out in the back in an alley, which is behind the bookstore, there's sort of the service entrance, and we sort of see some of the kitchen staff sort of moving back and forth. And Owl, one of the first things that you clock is the door, which is currently open right now, is enormous. I mean, this thing's got to be 4 inches of solid steel that they sort of have in there, which for, a bookstore is a little unusual. But it's kind of almost like 2 French doors that are on wheels that are opened up, and the kitchen staff is sort of walking back and forth, and they've got umbrellas on, and there's a couple of kind of bored looking security guards who are hunched up in their raincoats and kind of sitting there. You can tell that they're packing right now, but this is a risky engagement, and so you are standing outside of this right now. People are moving in and out. They are dressed as kitchen staff. What's your approach?
Either distract them and get them away from the door, or I can pay them off.
Mm-hmm.
But if I use one of my things, I'm only carrying 3 things, so if I use one of them, I'll only have 2. Yeah, I'll just walk up and maybe just like start talking to them and offer them cigarettes. And yeah, just kind of, that this is kind of Owl's thing. Like this is his people out in the back alley. So, he's been to enough shows and bars and things to know how to talk to people. Better than I do. But yeah, he just strikes up a conversation with them. Not being cagey or anything, just being, just hanging out, offers them smokes, and when it feels like the time is right, he will slip them both a coin to look the other way.
So yeah, the cops are both kind of sitting there, and the hands are shaking a little bit with the smoke, and he goes, "Oh man, goddamn cold night. Ugh, it's awful. Hey, thanks for the smoke, by the way. You're a good one."
No problem.
And he goes, God, the cop salary just doesn't go far enough. It's bullshit working nights like this, Yeah.
Hey, but do you guys know Vanden?
Vanden? Yeah, sure, of course. Yeah. Doesn't get a lot done, but yeah, I know him.
Yeah. Buddy of mine knows him. I didn't know if you guys would I don't know how popular he is in the around the office.
Hey, he brings in pastries a lot of the time, and honestly, I think that's why he gets away from not really doing anything, but like doesn't get in my way.
Look,
he knows
the
to
person
look
who
away.
brings pastries into the office is the backbone of the office,
Mm-hmm.
and I will not have you slander the good name of the person bringing in pastries.
Yeah, and he's good like that, and he knows to look away when we need to look away, right? Yeah.
Not yet. Sorry, I'm talking to Scott.
We cut to a roof with Scott with another sniper rifle.
only because I didn't think of that,
Not yet.
Scott. That's the only reason that didn't happen, is it didn't occur to me.
Okay, so yeah, do you want to pay them a coin to sort of get your way in there?
Sure. I mean, 1 each.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
maybe this will help you guys out. And he'll just give them the pack of smokes. Go ahead and take the pack. thank you for watching the building for us. This is a really shitty night to be doing this. I apologize, you guys are stuck out here, but I'm expected inside. I'm gonna go on inside.
Okay, we get your style. This was never here. And hey, just by the way, you ain't coming out this way. So I don't know what you're doing, but you better find another way out.
No, no one will be coming out this way. Thanks,
okay,
guys.
And so he kind of looks and he looks right and he goes, okay, get in. All right, so we'll cut to the front. Owl, you're sort of walking through the kitchen area. There's sort of commotion. There's caterers walking around. Somebody's got to walk, and fire's kind of going up through the kitchen.
Like Goodfellas?
And, yeah, like Goodfellas, and like a Scorsese or Tarantino-esque thing. We do a single tracking shot as the camera kind of moves through the kitchen, down through the burners, out through the sweeping door into the parlor, and we sort of swing around. We see the glitz and the glamour and the music, and we've got the echoes are playing over the big speaker, and there's a dance floor. People are starting to gamble a little bit. We sort of sweep around. We don't see Skinner. We sort of move up to the second floor, go right through the keyhole, and we're out in the front where Belladonna and Dicer are sort of standing in line for this bookstore.
I am wearing a ridiculous, like, huge, like, black jaguar fur coat. I'm, like, bundled.
Yeah, completely covered and protected from the weather.
Yep, and there's a couple of other, it looks like off-duty cops out in the front here. They're sort of collecting it. They see you come up, and they just go, hey, bookstore is closed tonight. Sorry, we'll be open in the morning.
I reach in my coat and pull out the invitation and hand it.
Yep.
To them.
And so he sort of looks at it and he turns it over and he says, all blue martini. Oh, a couple of high rollers it is then, huh? Okay, make your way in. And yeah, they open the front door right to you, and you go into a bookstore, which is a lot less cluttered than the sort of curious shop that you were in before. And he says, hey, don't forget your coat, check your coats. And so you kind of go into the coat room, and there's sort of a speakeasy-esque door that goes there, and you can sort of hear the buzz and the excitement from going down there. Balls in your court.
Mm-hmm. Is everybody like already, I assume you show up with the masks on and stuff.
Yeah, you show up with the masks on. So yeah, and it's, maybe you're sort of using the coat room to sort of readjust and kind of get everything that's there. And honestly, if you have a coat, you can take it off too, sort of store it there if you'd like. But yeah, if you want to spend a minute sort of getting ready, putting on your mask or whatever it is, yeah, you can do that. But it's expected once you're in there that you're suited up.
The camera hits the Belladonna reveal at in the coat room as as the furl unfurls. Yes.
I think since you said it was black tie, the invitation is for Racer X, but she's not dressed that way. Probably we're going more with the Black Panther look, so it's like the skin tight, like velvet dress to kind of have that patches of fur, and she's got like a black bedazzled rhinestone, like with the really long nails that like claws the whole thing.
Yeah. So you're there. You're dressed to the nines. A lot of other people are as well. Do you decide to kind of walk into the main parlor?
Yes. Also, I think I have Dicer in a bit of a zebra motif. So he's in like a tuxedo, but like the mask is very.
Well, I was actually going to the mask was going to be the Reality Warden's mask.
Oh.
That is very cool. We probably fought about it beforehand because I was like, we're not going anywhere unless you match me. And you were like, this is going to be so much cooler.
The specific Reality Warden that we met with, I'm wearing his mask.
Yeah, and over on the other side of town, Nargle, your aristocrat, sits up for just a moment and he says, something sexy is happening somewhere.
Sense of disturbance, of course.
Good one. Disturb me anytime you'd like. So yeah, as
I
you're sort
hate
of
him
going,
so much.
as you're going around and socializing, you kind of get the gist that these are sort of the general rooms. Let's say there's like 60 people here or so like that, so 60, 70 people. And there's sort of the low stakes room and the higher stakes room as well. Now, everybody's wearing masks. So it wouldn't be super easy to identify Skinner at this point, but you definitely don't see anything obvious right now.
I think we spend a while just schmoozing and being casual and maybe even playing in a couple low skate, like just kind of being at the party for a little bit. Very, very totally fine.
Yeah. So as you
Dicer
are sort
is,
of going,
Dicer is distracted though because he's immediately on looking out for and listening for fellows.
yeah, that's a very good point. So I think you probably don't need to see Fellow's face to identify them, right? It's probably the gait and the cadence, and you could clock it from across the room as you're probably sitting with your back to everything.
And I know
around
his
you.
voice. Yeah.
So you're at a low stakes game, and there's a couple of players that you've sort of chatted up with. Lord Dalmore is sitting at the table with you. Lord Dalmore is from another gang. They're from the Tomorrow program. You've encountered them before. They're kind of weird, occulty sort of people, but you've got no beef with them whatsoever. And so clearly there's a legal element of people that are here right now. And Lord Dalmore, this person's kind of an asshole in your encounter with them before, but they're sort of leaving you alone. They're sort of impulsive and boorish sort of person. And sort of as you're sitting there, Dicer, another player kind of saddles up to you. He's, big dude. He's got sort of a big paunch and an oversized hat. And he goes, "Now that's a mighty fine mask there, sir. Victor St. James, it is a damn pleasure to meet you. How are you tonight? You a high roller like me, sir?"
I dabble.
You dabble all right now. But
We
what
haven't
you-
met. Where are you from?
I'm straight out of Duskfall, true and true. My mama was working all by herself. My daddy done left me when I was just a little feller. But once the fusion industry came up, I was putting certain investments here and there, and I find myself to these kinds of places tonight. I can't believe they invited me. But that's a hell of a mask. Where did you get that? I've never seen anything like that before in my life.
I have a friend who excels at crafting. And they made it.
That is vague as hell, and I am here for it. Let's get you a drink. And he says, "Barkeep, come on over here. Come on over here." And he gets you a couple of Taikarosi Sundowners, and he's having a big old time. And he says, "Let's play. Let's steal you in, boy. Come on, let's go." And he's amiable, having a good old time with you. And as he's sort of doing that, he says, "Hey, are you going to be playing in any of the high stakes games later tonight?"
Hope to. We'll see.
Okay, well, you got to prove yourself on the low stakes floor first, right? You just can't waltz in there.
That's not really my game, so we'll see how the cards play. I
You
hope to get in.
are coy. We need more guys like him. Let's get another sunrise in. And so as you are sort of doing that and socializing, let's cut back to the kitchen. Owl, you're sort of going back behind the scenes. I'm not sure you're dressed right now, but you have access, and nobody's looking at you yet.
He is wearing a tuxedo.
Mm-hmm.
He is wearing a long black, like the instead of like having a jacket over the tuxedo, he's wearing like the jacket of his suit is the long, like almost down to his knees. Not quite a trench coat, but that's the jacket of his suit. And as he walks through the kitchen, he reaches behind him and pulls out a mask and pulls it over his head, and it is a Guy Fawkes mask.
Nice.
And he
So-
he stops on his way, like he sees a tray of bourbon, like or champagne, maybe whatever, and just grabs one and walks out the door, out into the main room, just like he's supposed to be there.
Okay, yeah, no one is batting an eye at this sort of thing. So, Owl, what's sort of your overall objective right now? Are you trying to find the targets? Are you just trying to blend in and get the lay of the land?
He will not be playing cards. He's just going
He's robbing
to
the bank. No,
no.
because we always
Bale
go
is not
sideways.
Bale is not with me tonight, so I don't think we're going to be doing a side quest to hit the vault in the basement. But he is definitely going to be like, he is watching the room and looking for Skinner, and he's also looking for Fellows. Like,
Okay.
what Fellows did to Dicer's neighbor is very high on his list, and so of course he doesn't know what Fellows looks like unless Dicer kind of filled him in. But
Absolutely giving you guys full descriptions.
But yeah, he's just kind of working the periphery. He's never standing still. He's always moving. He's not drinking this drink that he has in his hand. He's just kind of moving about because if he stands still, somebody's going to want to talk to him. So he's just moving about, like being a part of the party, part of the scene. And he's keeping an eye on Belladonna and Dicer, and clocking where they're at, but looking for telltale signs of Skinner. That's the main thing right now, is trying to suss out who here is this creature.
Okay, so you can tell these are all a bunch of off-duty cops who are primarily working security here. And one of them, who looks like the captain, is kind of clocking you, not acting like the other party guests, right? You're being deliberate, you're moving with sort of intentionality, and you can tell this person's starting to pay attention to you. If you want to sort of continue to move about freely without sort of doing traditional interaction, I'm going to need some kind of role for you to sort of be performing this and looking around without raising the suspicion.
Finesse or sway.
Sway, yeah. If you wanted to sway one of the individual blue coats, sure, certainly we could do that.
Oh, I was just thinking, just kind of like I said, I'm just making myself part of the crowd. I'm not necessarily standing off on my own, but
okay, so like kind of hide in plain sight socially.
Yeah, just kind of
sure.
yeah.
Yeah, give me a roll.
All right.
And I'm going to say that this is risky standard so far.
You got that look of the guy who like just got to the bar, got his drinks, and is heading back to meet his friends. So you're just constantly going through like, excuse me, pardon me, yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking for my crew. I went to get a drink and I can't find my people. 4 and a 6.
A 4 and a 6. Okay, so the captain sort of puts a finger up to their earpiece and is sort of watching you, and then sort of sees you grab the drink, walk back, and then thinks better of it and sort of does that. I'm going to say that as you were sort of looking around and floating around through things like that, the general buzz that you're hearing is that, the high stakes rooms are off to the side in some sort of capacity, and somebody that might match Fellow's description is there. You're not 100% certain, but with that 6, you get the impression that they're not part of sort of the main party right now.
So we have to earn our way into where they are.
You can do whatever you want. I mean, you could take out your machine guns and get in there right now if you really wanted to. I'm not going to stop you.
Oh, trust me.
Okay, so let's.
I know it's sort of my go-to, but
yeah.
we can blow this place up.
somebody throws a roulette ball on the roulette table and it spins a couple of times and the camera is sort of tracking on it as it ends up. It's back at the table with you, sort of playing your low stakes poker right there. And Victor St. James is just like, well, back in '62, you know, the dust storms were coming up and really getting in our way. And he's just chatting. He's not really paying attention to his cards.
I am, because like I said, I'm not very good at this, so I do have to focus on the actual game to try and win.
There's a lot of ways to play poker, right? It's you can cheat, of course, if you've got fast fingers. Poker is reading people a lot of the time, right? You don't need to have the best cards. You just have to have sort of the best understanding of those sorts of things. So you can play this any way that you want.
Yeah, I'm trying to look at the descriptions because I'm trying to figure out if hunting would be a way to...
Yeah, I could kind of see hunting as like reading somebody.
Yeah.
You know?
That's basically what I'm trying to like...
You have a particular target, and it's the schmuck.
Yeah.
Who I assume
so
is...
I'm praying...
Yeah, Dicer, are you playing above board, or is this nefarious playing? Like, you have
as much nefarious as I can.
Okay,
but
cool.
Yeah, I'm definitely trying to earn my way into that high stakes game.
You've got a built-in distraction. I don't know what she's doing at the moment, but like.
Well, I'm so glad you asked
up behind him and signal you his cards, or distract him completely, and like. There's all sorts of things that could happen.
Because here's the thing. There's two problems, and both of them are me. I have two deadlocks right now. One of them is always a production, and the other is reality is weirder than fiction. So there's a couple things happening at the moment. One of which is a real-life occult dude is in front of me and not paying attention to me. And the other is 3 people have not paid attention to me today because people are paying attention to Dicer. This will not stand. Because it's deadlock. I must. Like, it's a trauma for her, is what it is. So there's yet another person today, damn it, who is paying more attention to Dicer than her, and that is unacceptable. So we gotta do this.
While St. James and I are having conversations, you're getting more and more steamed behind me.
Yep. And people are not really paying attention. And he goes, and the flop, and the river. And people are very down looking at the cards right now.
I assumed that I was playing the game too, but I guess it does make sense.
No, you can. Yeah, you're at the table.
You can be playing on the table if you want.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What is it? Tomorrow Society? Tomorrow?
The Tomorrow Program, Lord Dalmore.
Yeah. I want to loudly engage about occult things with him and show off how much I know about occult things, because obviously I do. And I want to show off and be loud and change the subject, 1, away from Dicer, and 2, away from Dicer, because he's trying to get the thing.
Yeah.
So what do I already know about the hum a few bars? I'll wing it.
Yeah, the Tomorrow Program, they're sort of an occulty, they've got their fingers in a lot of sort of nefarious sorts of things. They are killers. This is not a Robin Hood-esque gang. These are pretty hardened people. And Lord Dalmore sort of funds the whole enterprise with their family's wealth. This is not necessarily a, get rich and grow. This is sort of a preppy dick who's spending mommy and daddy's money to sort of pretend to play a gangster and not really afraid to hurt people along the way.
Oh, perfect. My kind of guy, because that's who I'm pretending that I am.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I want to just loudly be at the table and engage with him, and maybe I think what we do over our It's Not Champagne because there's no Champagne France is maybe start getting into like a pissing contest of who has the best stories of times you've run into anomalies.
Yeah. Yeah, and as you're sort of having this conversation with Lord Dalmor, you get a peek at their cards, and Dalmor's got pocket aces. If they play on the river, this is going to be a very good hand for them.
Okay, then I don't even know if it needs to be a flashback necessarily, but Dicer and I have come up with like some sort of system, right? There's a particular, like, if I like push my hair behind my ear on the left, it's like their cards are great, and if I do it on the right, their cards are trash. Like that sort of just that sort of thing. And I think I am maybe pretending to be a little drunk, so she's starting to get a little like flirty and like, you know, lean close sort of thing, as they're like talking about and they're having this conversation as if it's this like sort of coy, like, oh, cute sort of thing, but what they're actually talking about is like, oh yeah, I saw a ghost like rip someone's spine out and then kill someone else, like gory things, but that's like how she is. So we kind of have, it's dramatic and a lot for no reason except that it needs to be about me, damn it.
Well, you know, certainly mark an XP for yourself there for doing that. And additionally, I'm going to say that Dalmor is kind of looking back and forth between the table and you, and the table and you. And you can see like this poor person's lizard brain sort of trying to fight between sort of two interests right now. And so what are you going to do to sort of steer them towards you instead of the cards?
We love a lizard brain. Yeah, so she is going to, I think there's a moment at the end of one of his stories where he's talking about something that really should be impressive, right? And she's totally just like, oh yes, that was last Tuesday for me. And I'm going to use my Echo Twin ability.
Mm-hmm.
So I take 2 stress and I can summon them for a few moments. I don't necessarily need any of the things that they can do.
Right.
I'm just using this sort of as a flare, sort of a like just for a moment, like he can see that she has this like ghostly, like there's something about her that's a little bit paranormal, and she's not really trying to hide it from anybody else either. Like it's kind of a wink to everybody that's paying attention.
Yeah, sure. Okay. I will let you kind of almost use that like an item bonus if you want. We can give you an extra die for position or effect if you'd like to do that. But what else are you doing to sort of draw the attention there?
It's just those two and us two at the table?
Yeah, it's the two of you. Yeah, it's 4 people that are playing right now.
How do I get Podunk Skinner's attention? Because I have what's his name's attention.
You've got
Anybody
Lord
got any
Dalmor's attention. Victor St. James is not a hard person to attract your attention anyway. Yeah, in fact, just simply sort of summoning the apparition, St. James goes, "Sweet googly moogly! Now what the heck is that? We need to spend more time with each other. You guys," and he points to Dalmor, says, "You seeing this?" And Dalmor's still kind of looking at the cards a little bit.
I'm like, what did you put in this drink? I'm seeing double.
You know, in all of my years as, we'll say, an amateur lover of novels and fiction, it can really be sometimes that life is much stranger than fiction ever could be. And that's when she, like, the doubles kind of, like, pop out and almost, like, wink and then, like, snap back together, and it's just her again.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, give me a
we
give
need
me
to
give me
hang
a
out
roll.
together more.
Give me a roll and kind of state your intent that's associated with this. I'm going to give you a chunky bonus because I know you just burned stress in order to sort of do that.
Oh,
But
which
yeah,
reminds me,
tell
I need to mark that. There we go.
yeah.
Well, okay. Selfishly, I just want attention on myself because I have not gotten it today. And Belladonna is like Tinkerbell, and if she doesn't have attention, she will die. But logistically speaking, if Dicer needs to do something with his cards, this is gonna be the moment that she's
Yeah.
like, nobody's watching. If you need to like
Switch,
switch something, whatever. So that's kind of my thing, is just be covered distraction if he needs to change up his hand.
Is this
Yeah.
a setup action or an assist, or is this just a...
Setup action sounds perfect.
Okay, perfect. Let's do it that way. I think I still have to roll for that, right?
You certainly do.
Okay.
And I'm going to say this is going to be risky for great effect. If you pull this off, Lord Dalmore is not going to be part of this equation anymore, and those pocket aces are not going to matter.
I'm kind of debating between sway and finesse, but I feel like sway is more of the social aspect of it.
They both make sense to me.
Well, I got 2 in one and 1 in the other, so guess what? We're rolling sway. Oh, shoot. Right off the table. All right, hold on. 6.
6, absolutely. So Dalmore back forth, and he sort of makes the decision, and he just goes, "Deal me out." And he says, "What was that?" And St. James says, "That's what I said. What the hell was that?" And so they
She just
are
kind of like
eyes on
flips
you.
her hair and, well, you'll know, and like just is talking now.
Yeah. And yeah, St. James is like, "If this was any other place, I'd say that's ding dong ding rat illegal. But here, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it." They're very distracted right now.
Good.
Do what you gotta do, Dicer.
Yep. So we start taking in pot after pot after pot while she's putting on a show, and they are distracting.
Yeah. So is there anything? So the setup roll is it sort of she's causing the distraction for you to sort of roll whatever it is that you're trying to intent right now, and we can
Right.
give you extra position or effect or whatever it is that we need to do with this.
Yeah, so I mean, like I said, the main goal is to determine their weaknesses during this game, and prey on them.
Yeah.
And we said get the reads and using Hunt to determine, they're strong, they're weak, and just start taking pot after pot after pot from them.
Yeah, so I'm going to say that this is risky standard, but you can give yourself a bonus die if you'd like because of the setup action from Belladonna, or we could change this to risky for great effect if you'd like.
Let's go risky great effect. Let's
Okay.
just sweep this table and get these guys out of here.
And you're just going to roll as is?
So I want to end up with Belladonna and I both ending up with the lion's share from the table.
Okay, yeah, I'm here for it.
All right, so I have 2 dice, and I'm not taking additional one because we're pushing for effect. That means I can't push myself then either, right? If I'm taking that.
I don't see why not.
All right.
With the
Stress out,
setup
3 dice.
action, yeah. So if you want to push yourself, or
Okay.
anything else that I could offer.
A 1, a 3, and a 5.
Okay.
Success.
Success with a consequence. So yeah, you lay down whatever those cards are, and it's a sweep. You have just been plugging chips away from these people all night, and St. James is hooting, hollering, and dancing, and giving you a back rub. He's so excited for you, and he says, high rollers here, the 2 of these people. Let's get them up. Let's get it for them. No one's paying attention, right?
And I like this guy. I like this guy. I'm having fun with this guy.
Yeah, he's having a good time.
Yeah.
He's kind of causing a little bit of a ruckus that's there. The consequence, we switch back to Owl. And Owl, let's say you are, still keeping the lay of the land and everything like that. You sort of look through the parlor and everything like that. One of the doors opens and you see a figure step out for just a moment, sort of look down into the parlor floor and pause, and slowly close the door. And Fellows is looking directly down from the second level onto the table and is noticing this big, obnoxious commotion from Victor St. James. And inside the door, you start hearing whispering. You can't make it out. But you have access to the high stakes room. I think that you know where Skinner is at that point, and I think with that, that's where we are going to end it for the night.
Yeah, I'm noticing that too, Jenna.
No, it's my favorite thing.
Yeah, Dicer rolled something, got a success with a consequence, and it's me that's paying the consequence. Yeah.
This is great though, because Mr. Coffee's gonna like drunkenly stumble in from somewhere and not have an invitation and just like, oh hey, Justin's back.
I still think Coffee is Skinner. That's the reason Justin's not here tonight, is because Coffee is Skinner.
Yeah.
St. James is Skinner though, right?
Victor St. James.
No.
Oh.
Yeah. What do you mean no? Some podunk schmuck shows up at this table and starts being all friendly out of nowhere, and he's not the murderer. Are you kidding?
I do like the idea of Mr. Coffee just being at the bar. What are you guys doing here?
Who let you in?
Remember
like not even dressed up or anything.
Yeah.
Wait, was that tonight? All right. Who's this guy? I like him.
Perfect. Yep, that's it.
Yeah. So anyway, thank you for watching this evening. We will conclude this, and I think we're going to have one more downtime session once we finish this up, and then we're going to be moving into our season finale. So stay tuned for that. There's a bunch of threads that have been connecting, and we'll certainly move towards that. My name has been Brandon. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. I'm really digging Blade 68, and I'm really enjoying playing it with all of you. So thanks for spending your time with this. This has been a real hoot. Would anybody like to share anything that's going on right now?
I'm
I'm tired. I got nothing going on. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Going to
I
bed.
think we're all a little just
Going to
wiped
bed.
this week. Yeah.
Yeah. This is
here on the channel. Sunday night we'll have Alien back again, and this coming Monday night, Tim has got his internet. His fiber internet is connected, and he's good to go. So Monday night will be the return of Simbaroom, and then Wednesday night we'll be back here with more of Owl paying for everybody else's bad rolls.
I like that.
As it should be. What, I have to face my own consequences? I don't think so.
But no, yeah, this is great. Like you said, Brendan, this has been a lot of fun. I've really enjoyed this. I actually think I like this more than standard Blades. I really, this is just really my vibe. This is what I really like. So, yeah, thank you for running it for us, and I will look forward to seeing everybody again next Wednesday night.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Thanks, everybody. Have a great night.
Thanks. Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.